you can, basically be in a position to get that funding. You know what I mean? Whether it's a $200, $300 LLC, during this masterclass, I'm going to show you a fast track on how to register your LLC, how to launch your business, and some of the tips and tricks and things that I would consider when registering an entity in the year 2021. So the people who are joining me on the Zoom platform, thank you very much. Welcome to the Launching Your Business in 2021 Masterclass. And, I just want to say, listen, I want to start off with a little story. In the beginning of 2020, I had a few entities registered, right? One from 2017, one from 2018, and the rest from 2020. Now, when the CARES Act was passed, and I was applying for the EIDL loans, I had 5 to 6 different entities that I applied for individually, right? So there were some quotes that I got back from the EIDL for like 35,000, 45,000, 15,000. You know what I mean? I had a variety of different quotes, well, basically grants. They were willing to give me free money. Now, here is the catch. My businesses weren't in a position because they were registered in February 2020. I guess somewhere in the outline of the EIDL loan in the CARES Act said that your business had to be registered in before January 31st, 2020 or some shit like that. So I literally just missed the deadline. So what I was trying to do is I was trying to scramble, get these bank accounts open so that way I can get the EIDL. Now, I was able to successfully get the EIDL for a few other businesses, but I lost out on a good $65,000 of free money with the EIDL loan just because I did not have my businesses registered before January 31st, 2020. So what I'm here to tell you is, listen, you got $100, you got $200, $300, put it towards registering an LLC. I don't care if you don't know what you want to do for your business. A generic company to have always is a consulting company. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of us are really confused about what's business and what's personal. All right. So I'm going to tell you, your everyday life is mostly business, believe it or not. So in actuality, every time you talk to your best friend, every time you talk to a friend, every time you talk to someone in the supermarket, like, you are doing business, whether you realize it or not. And if you wanted to, you could write it off on your taxes. And of course, there may not be some kind of energetic exchange, but at the end of the day, when I use my business debit card, when I use my business credit card, I could write it off at the end of the year because I have these entities. So one of the first steps in fast tracking your process of launching your business is, listen, you need a business idea. You need to figure out how and what you are going to bring to the world. You know what I mean? Whether it's, like I said, a consulting company, whether you want to be a virtual assistant, you got to be adaptable to the times, right? Understand that, listen, we're in times of pandemic. And yeah, like I said that, right? Pandemic. So everything is digital. So this is a great time for you to be able to leverage your virtual skills, whether it be copywriting, digital designing, whether it be Photoshop, whether it be writing blogs, whether it be Excel, whether it be any of these softwares that you may be good at. You could list yourself on Upwork. You could list yourself on LinkedIn as a professional, an industry professional, and be able to monetize, and people can 1099 you. So I'm definitely going to go into the benefits of having an LLC and being on paper, right? Because now during this time, there's those PPP loans. So if you have a LLC registered from 2 years ago, and with you as an employee for the last 2 years, you can possibly apply for the PPP loans and be able to get $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000, right? For your LLC that's just sitting there, all right? So identify your business idea. What kind of business do you want to bring to the market, right? What is it your side business? Is it a hobby? So really, it could be anything, like I said. So I'm going to go over some ideas right now about the different business ideas that I felt like were really cool in my perspective. Actually, I'm going to go to my platform. So being a freelancer, right? Writing, SEO, transcription, design, illustration, coding, and consulting, man, these people get paid up to 6 figures a year. You got to understand this, and it's easy to learn. So if you need help identifying a skill that you want to hone in on, and especially through our university, there's a few different skills that you can pick up on and be able to, in 2, 3 months, walk out of there with a profession, not just a weird little mystical skill. Like, no, listen, through our university, you will be trained and educated on a fast track to step out of there in 2 to 3 months and be able to be an industry professional, whether it means a consultant in a different capacity, a business consultant, a credit repair expert, a holistic health practitioner, whatever way you want to take it. There's a data entry clerk, there's virtual assistants, you can do e-commerce, you can do audio stuff or video editing, especially if you have a really good voice like myself. No, I'm just joking. Voiceover artist, you could be a pet sitter, you could be a vacation host. Obviously, we know Airbnb is going crazy right now. And I listed here just a few different things, and I'm still not done working these things out, but you can do drop shipping, you can be, like I said, a virtual assistant, et cetera, et cetera. So once you get the idea, you're going to need to draft up a business plan, right? It doesn't need to be a complex business plan. It's just A, B, C. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is how I do it, right? And these are my products and services, how I do it, and this is how I'm going to make money, right? A, B, C, right? Cut straight to the chase, okay? Making money is not hard, okay? You just have to really be in a position where you are confident enough to execute your plan. And right, listen, plans change. So you got to be adaptable. Make sure you choose a business and a business plan that's adaptable for 2021, right? Because like I said, things change. You have to understand the current market condition. Like I said about COVID and pandemic, everything is virtual. You have to understand that, listen, if you don't know computer skills, you are going to be left behind in some tenses. Obviously, there are hard labor jobs that you can still use to contract your business with. So for example, if I was hired from, I don't know, a security company, and I somehow can negotiate them to contract my business instead of paying me on payroll as a W-4 employee, they could contract and 1099 my company instead of giving me a paycheck. So identify market conditions in your business plan. Get your products and services very clear. How are you going to operate? What is the management of it? And we're going to go into what structure you should use in a little bit. Marketing and sales strategy, your financial plan, and your appendix, right? I have a bunch of different resources for, single-use business plans. I mean, you can find them all over the internet. Just figure out what works for you and what doesn't. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you just need something. This is from the SBA. You just need something that's going to give you a really good outline. This one is actually really ugly from the SBA. But it's all good. Like I said, functionality over fashion, right? So if you Google free PDF business plan, like, I'm sure you'll find something that you could resonate with. If not, let me know. I know some good quality business plans that you could, if you're willing to pay 10, 20 bucks for, I'll be willing to lend them to you. So once you have that business plan, you need to decide on a business structure, right? So right now, a really easy thing to do, and I'm going to tell you right now, I know people who got $30,000 on a sole proprietor with the EIDL loan. And I personally help clients with new businesses get $40,000, $50,000 with the EIDL and on their sole proprietor. So like I said, you can just go and register a sole proprietor, right? Cheap. Register a sole proprietor, get a DBA, and then open a bank account. Get an EIN for the DBA or something like that, and then go and open up a business bank account. So once you decide on the business structure, in which we will go over right now, here are the different reasons or factors you want to consider when choosing a business structure, right? You want to think about legal liability, you want to think about taxes, you want to think about the cost, the flexibility, and the future needs of your business. So like I said, it's a word, that's what I have a sole proprietorship. That's right, man. That's right. Sometimes that's all you need to be in a position to get money, right? Free money. Um, yeah, so if you have an LLC, or for example, this guy has a sole proprietor. A sole proprietor means that he can contract with any other business, and it's very flexible. You can scale it, right? It will probably be very easy for doing taxes. And he said, submitted for my EIDL last week. That's what I'm talking about, man. Yo, I hope you get a nice quote on that, bro. Shout out to Mystery, man. So yeah, so these are all things that you want to consider. Legal liability, for example, that is the whole reason why entities were created. I'm gonna give y'all a little game. So back in the slave ownership days, when we had plantations, the Declaration of Independence was not a declaration of freedom for any of us. It was the declaration stating that the transition of slaves from the ownership of the man to the state, or to an entity, or to a trust, right? The Declaration of Trust, Declaration of Independence. So that's when LLCs, corpses came into the commercial world, because listen, you got to be dead if you're interacting in the commercial world. So you got to use a dead entity. Yes, an LLC, S Corp, C Corp is a dead entity, okay? So with that being said, some of these plantations registered LLCs so that when the slaves tried to come back and sue the slave owner, they couldn't, because they couldn't pierce the corporate veil. So that's why LLCs were created, to limit the liability of certain assets inside or held inside of a LLC or an entity, right? Because if the corporate veil was pierced, then what they could do is that they can, just transfer the assets to another LLC and liquidate that LLC. So I'm going to very briefly go over the different types of business structures, right? We already went over sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is just you. It is you using your social security number as a business, right? And that's fine, right? But you got to understand, sole proprietor doesn't come with a lot of legal liability, or it does come with a lot of legal liability, excuse me. You are personally responsible for anything that happened, for doing business of anything that happens on that sole proprietor. So you have to be careful. Partnerships, there are different kinds of partnerships, LLCs. I actually have a couple partnership LLCs as well. A partnership is basically, you combining your efforts with someone else to create some kind of entity. Corporations, meaning, C Corp, S Corp, these are different entities that are used for scalable businesses, or more kind of corporate endeavors, you know what I mean? But this really, in the eyes of business, could be anything. You could be a consultant, you could be a corporate consultant, right? Even if it's for, I don't know, herbs or teas or health or credit or shoes or anything you can think of, you can have a corporation for. Now, the only thing with the C Corp and S Corp is that you're going to have to hire an accountant. The reason why is because let's be honest, you don't know how to do taxes. If you do, let me know so I can hire you. But if you don't know how to do taxes, then you will need to hire an accountant, and you need to be careful, because corporations like C Corps could be double taxed. Some say that you could evade taxes through S Corps and stuff like that, which is possible, but you just got to keep in mind, what is your business doing? And that kind of brings me to my next thing, which is, hold on. I'm going to bring this up for you, because this right here is the business tax codes of New Jersey. And the reason why you want to have this, you want to be aware of this, is because you have to understand the state of New Jersey, or the IRS, will identify you some kind of way. And they do that through SIC codes. And these SIC codes are basically codes that identify the nature of your business. So as you can see here, these are just for New Jersey, right? You got 2733, that is the code for real estate, right? So if you have a real estate company, your SIC code will be 2733, and this will be the code that the IRS, how the IRS can identify your business activity, right? Which can determine how you will be taxed for a fact, right? Good. All right. So I'm going to go back to continue to talk about the business structures and say, look, man, everybody needs at least 3 LLCs, at least. You want to know why? Because they only cost $150 to register, okay? Depending on what state you're in, it could vary. But listen, once you get the business structure, once you get an LLC, you pretty much have everything you need. And in my university, we'll teach you about how once you have an entity, a year, 2 years down the line, once you got this business creating cash flow, you could begin to leverage 50, 75, $100,000 on credit, not sacrificing your personal social security number. You can do that solely on the entity. You can go and get cars, you can go and get houses if you knew the process. All right. So just keep that in mind when choosing an entity. All right. So I do want to touch very briefly on registering businesses public versus private. Okay. So listen, I am not a fan, right? Hear me out. I am not a fan of registering businesses with the state. The reason why, it's actually a long reason, probably not going to go into it all today, but for short term sake, I'm going to say that whenever you register anything with the state is liable, or the state has the authority, excuse me, in the contract that you sign with them to come and take your property or liquidate the assets of your business. So I'm going to show you guys something right here. And these are some articles of incorporation that I used. What is this? For one of my businesses right here. This is articles of incorporation for, what is this? Is this for my nonprofit? Yeah, this is for my nonprofit corporation in New Jersey for decriminalized nature, right? This is what it looks like when you register a company with the state, right? But I'm going to tell you, it is a different process when you choose to go private. And listen, in the university, that is the whole goal. We are trying to move from public 14th Amendment citizens to private sovereign beings, okay? So how to register a private LLC, that course will be done in the future, right? Because it's a process. You basically have to have a trust. And once you have the trust, really, it's actually a simple process. But in order for you to get there, then you're going to have to go through the estate planning courses to really understand how to register a LLC, how to produce your own articles of incorporation with your corporate seal and all that good stuff. All right, so now we're going to shift gears and talk about getting an EIN. Listen, just like you are a business, you have a social security number to do business with. Everyone needs an EIN. An EIN is an employer identification number, right? You can also get a TIN number, right? A tax identification number according to the IRS. But listen, if you are registering an LLC, you can literally do that in less than 10 minutes on the IRS website. Literally, less than 10 minutes. So once you have the LLC, you have the articles of incorporation, you go and get the EIN for free in less than 10 minutes. Now you have everything you need to go and open up a business bank account, right? So far, you got the business name, you got the business plan, you registered the business, you got an EIN number, right? So what do you do after you get that EIN number? Well, you go and open up a business bank account. Now, I'm not going to go into business bank accounts too in depth, but I am going to say, hey, look, choose your favorite bank. I would recommend maybe even go to a credit union, maybe get multiple banks. Now, consider that, it may cost $50 to $100 to open up a bank account. You know what I mean? It's not a bad idea. But the point is, get the business bank account. I have Bank of America. There were times where I was using payment processors like PayPal and Cash App or Venmo for the businesses. I feel like it's so important to have a bank account because I was that naive person who was like, I don't want to get a bank account. Da, da, da. And then when the EIDL loan applications came out, I was scrambling, trying to open up all these bank accounts so that way I could submit my EIDL loan application and that, try to get another $15,000, $25,000, $30,000. So don't be slacking. Once you got the LLC, open the bank account, keep $50 to $100 in there. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Especially if you have no idea what you're doing, just keep it there. I promise you it's going to serve you justice. And especially in the next 5-10 years, you're going to look back on me in this video and you're going to be like, thank God Sal told me to go and register this LLC because goddamn, now I'm able to get some business credit because of it. All right. So All right, so now we have a business. You are an entrepreneur. Actually, every client that I registered a business for, the moment that I registered their business, I looked at them and I said, congratulations, you are successfully an entrepreneur. Because that's it, right? It's really that simple. Sometimes we complicate it, and I understand, but we have to understand that getting started is the key. So people who are serious about their lives are going to register a business in 2021, if not already. All right, so we're going to take a brief second to talk about business compliance. So I actually didn't plan to go this deep, but some other business compliance things that are going to be very important when starting your business. And I'm going to talk generically about, I don't know, a consulting company because I have several. So you're going to need, once you have the business bank account, you're all legit, all right? You're going to need some kind of phone number. You can get a Google Voice number. You can choose to use your own personal phone number, which is most of the time what I do too. I do have business phone numbers, but you can use, here, look, you can use Google Voice to get phone numbers. And also another very good tip is to list your business on Google and in 411 listing. So listyourself.net, you can go on this company and you could, register your business on there. And this looks really good for the future. I promise you may not be able to understand why this is important, but obviously people who use the internet know how important it is. When you search up a certain keyword, certain kind of businesses pops up. So if you are looking to optimize your business for SEO and keyword research and stuff like that, you will do the due diligence of registering yourself on listyourself.net and on Google, right? And actually, I'll show you what I look like. Salvatore Swain, holistic health practitioner. I think I listed a few of my businesses on Google. Yeah, see, Life Advancement is right here. Salvatore Swain, me as an individual entity, is right there. I still need to actually come back and do that. So thank God for reminding me. Is all this going to be in the university? Man, I am ready. Yes. So the university, I'm sending out the link later on this week for people to get their free week demos. So if you are excited just as much as I am, man, I've been working 24/7 to get this thing delivered because, people need it. So thank you for inquiring. If you're interested in doing that free week trial for the university, by this upcoming Sunday, I'll have that ready for you. So send me a personal DM and definitely hit me up. I'll DM you right after this live. All right. So, oh, hey, Amani. Oh, what's good, Amani? All right. So once you have the phone number, you're going to need a website, email, right? This is so key. You know what I mean? I would say, if you want very, very simple, go to GoDaddy. You could go on there. You could register your domain. You could get the website and hosting very, very cheap. You can also get the email very, very cheap and have a website ready to launch, in less than a few weeks, right? Now, another resource that I'm going to recommend for people is of course accounting, right? So QuickBooks, use QuickBooks for accounting. Put yourself on payroll, okay? Put yourself on payroll, man. Stop playing. It don't matter if the business is not making that much money. Just put your ass on payroll so you can get that PPP loan, all right? Giving you game. For my consultant company friends, I'm going to recommend you get a Calendly. Calendly, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is free. Whoo, I'm about to give y'all some gems right now. I'm excited. All right, so get a Calendly. Make sure as an entrepreneur, you are prioritizing your time and money, right? Your time being staying organized with a task manager and a Calendly, which I'll go over after talking about the task manager. So Calendly, I use for everything. Okay, you have to understand. I use it for everything, as you can see. This is my exclusive backend stuff. I'm continuously updating this. I have private links that I send to personalized clients and investors and stuff like that. So definitely get you a Calendly because if I'm not mistaken, it is free. All right. So once you have the Calendly, you're going to need a payment processor. get Stripe. Stripe is pretty much free. I mean, they're not free. They take a percentage per transaction. But listen, if you connect your Stripe with Calendly, it's the shit. You know what I mean? Because people could check out right in the Calendly. And I'm gonna tell you, I've sold thousands of dollars worth of product and services through the Calendly, just through the Calendly. So I'm telling you, it's free resources. What? Stripe takes, I don't know, 2% of each transaction, maybe something less than that. All right. So these are tools that you absolutely need when going into 2020 and you are trying to simplify the process of launching your business. All right. So I have given you so much so far. I'm going to give you one last gem. Once you have your EIN number, so I gave you some of the business compliance stuff, right? Website, email, phone number, Google Voice, listyourself.net. What you can do is you can go and get a free DUNS number. And listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, just taking this course is not going to be enough information for me to show you how to get this DUNS number for free, because they will try to sell you on it if you hit them up. They will try to sell you, I don't know, a package, $2,500. But listen, you could get this DUNS number for free. And the reason why I have to outline the importance of this DUNS number is this DUNS number, Dun & Bradstreet, is the industry standard for business credit reporting. So even if you have a sole proprietor, if you have an LLC, a S Corp, a C Corp, you can get a DUNS number and begin to create relationships with creditors. Obviously, we know in estate planning, I say that we are actually the creditors, but nonetheless, in terms of entities, we can create business relationships with other creditors, and they will report what's called a PAYDEX score, and it will generate a DUNS number. This also is in relation to Equifax, Experian, and all the business credit agencies that are reporting. But Dun & Bradstreet is what, 200 years old or some shit like that? Like, it's crazy. Definitely make sure you check out Dun & Bradstreet. Maybe look up some YouTube videos on how to get that DUNS number for free, but that will be in the university. So if you guys are interested, like I said, during the next couple weeks, for the people who are on Instagram, I will be launching the free week trial for people to come in and demo the university. I am super blessed and grateful, because I know that in 10 years, people are going to look back at me and say, Sal, thank you so much for giving me the motivation to register an LLC this year. Because, you know, I was able to get XYZ. I was able to finance a $40,000 truck. I was able to do this, do that, do this, do that. You know what I mean? Because I ain't even get to talking about the personal guarantee yet, but that'll be in the credit repair and the business credit courses more specifically, okay? So thank you so much for joining me in the Launching Your Business in 2021 Masterclass. I hope you have benefited, and I hope this has fast-tracked your process of launching your business in 2021. So people who are on IG, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Ali, you know what I'm saying? 11 Eagles. Oh man, all these beautiful people. Inspiring. Thank you.